Welcome to bongosikha. Aspirants, today I am going to discuss about the Vice President. Already I have discussed the President. So, Vice President, what is the role of the Vice President, what is his functions, and why there is the importance of the post of the Vice President. Everything I will discuss one by one. So, the Vice President occupies the second highest office in the country. So, after the President, the Vice President occupies the second highest office in the country. He is just modeled, his office is modeled on the lines of the American Vice President. What is the model of the American Vice President? Like that only the Indian Vice President model is also framed. Now the election, the Vice President, like the President, is elected not directly by the people, but by the method of the indirect election, and that is also elected by the members of the Electoral College. Electoral College, it consists of both the elected and the nominated members of the Parliament. In the case of the President, only the elected members, but in the case of the Vice President, both the nominated and the elected members. This is very important to know or remember. It does not include the members of the state legislative assemblies. The Vice President, it does not include the state legislative assemblies. In the President, we have seen that the elected members of the legislative assemblies are included. So, these two differences in the election procedure we can see in the case of the President and in the case of the Vice President. Next, qualifications. So, he should be an Indian citizen first. Next, he should have completed 35 years of age. He should not hold any office of profit under the union government or the state government or the local governments, and he should be qualified for election as a member of the Rajya Sabha. So, these are the qualifications for becoming or for contesting as a Vice President. Next, before entering his office, he takes an oath by the President of the India. He swears that he will faithfully discharge his duties. He will always uphold the supremacy of the Constitution, protect the Constitution. He will render his service for the nation and for the people. Next, conditions of the office, that Constitution lays down the following two conditions of the Vice President's office: that he should not be a member of either house of the Parliament or a house of the state legislature, and he should not hold any office of profit. Every time I have told this, that he cannot hold any office of profit under the state governments or the central government or the local governments. Now, term of office, the Vice President holds office for a term or for a period of the 5 years, but before that he can leave his office by submitting a resignation letter to the President, or he can be impeached by the members of the Parliament on the grounds of the violation of the Constitution. So, here what is the impeachment procedure? Like that only of the President also, here also impeachment procedure, a formal impeachment, that any resolution first has to be initiated in either house of the Parliament. If it is approved by both the houses of the Parliament, then a 14 days notice has to be given to the Vice President. After that, it will be sent to the another house of the Parliament for reconsideration or for investigation. If that house also accepts the fault of the Vice President, then the Vice President stands for his post, from his post. So, then the vacancy in the office. There are a lot of reasons which may cause the vacancy in the Vice President's office. Firstly, due to his death, due to his resignation, or due to his impeachment. And so, when the vacancy is going to be caused by the expiration of the term of the ruling Vice President, an election to be held immediately to fill up the vacuum, and unless the new Vice President takes up the charge and the responsibilities, the sitting Vice President will continue. So, this is the vacancy in the office. Next, powers and the functions. He acts as the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha, like that of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. He acts as the president when the vacancy occurs in the office of the president, like resignation, impeachment or death. Whenever there is any vacuum in the presidential office due to death, due to impeachment, then he acts like a president, then he acts as the president. And he also deals with all the emergency provisions in that time also. That Indian and the American vice president's comparison is there, a very small comparison is there, that in the Indian vice president does not assume the office of the president when it falls vacant for the unexpired term. He merely serves as the acting president, but American vice president succeeds to the presidency when it falls vacant. So this is the difference between the American vice president and the Indian vice president, and these are all the functions what I have discussed. So this is all about the vice president. Thank you.